Willkommen zu Draw Stand by Main, Deutschlands geilstem Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast mit meiner Wenigkeit und der Creme de la Creme der deutschen Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitch-Streaming-Szene, Nivska.
Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen, Mittag oder Abend, ihr hochgradig attraktiven Individuen da draußen, einen festen Nivska hier. So, meine lieben Freunde, Folgendes. Wir beginnen diesen Podcast hier auf Deutsch. Das ist aber nur ein kleiner Exclaimer, weil ab jetzt werden wir auf Englisch weitersammeln. Weiß, wie es euch sicherlich aufgefallen ist, zumindest wer den ganzen Bums sich auf YouTube gönnt. Der Typ daneben mir versteht gerade kein einziges Wort, was ich von mir gebe. Der gute Mann kommt von der Insel, keine Ahnung, was er spricht. Ich glaube, das soll Englisch sein oder sowas, aber keine Ahnung, was die Angelsachsen sich damals so gedacht haben. Anyway, es ist mir eine große Freude. It's an honor to introduce you, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that is banned from every hospital near you because he popped one baby too much for their likings. I am going to introduce you, the man, the myth, the legend, the feet fetishes of Beatrice, Farfa!
Ja, ich war Spezialbeschwörend. I'm here. Wow. You guys have such a radio voice. Like, that's insane. That was impressive. What the hell? I'm blown away.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this shit like for 4 years now? Something like this.
Kind of. Yeah, 3.5 years, something like that.
I need you to do the intros for my videos or something from now on. What? That was incredible.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, if you like some German intros and if you want to have a little bit more of an international vibe, but everyone is thinking, yeah, Josh sounds weird. But yeah, this is a different thing. All right, today we invited you, Farfa, because we both, for your information, we have me and this idiot over there on the other side of the screen. We both are avid TCG players. You once were one of us, but you betrayed us. You went. You say the future is digital, and we both want to talk with you about the transition from the TCG, the good Yu-Gi-Oh, to the, well, fake game, the Master Duel, or whatever we want to take calls. So, for your information, wow, this guy has real cards. I'm impressed.
Oh, wow, and actually pretty expensive cards. What happened over there?
So
yeah, I'm going to my first locals tomorrow for the new format, and I haven't like properly read these cards yet, so that's going to be an experience.
Awesome. I love it already. So, my question to you, I mean, basically you just answered this. Do you still play the TCG at all?
Yeah, I mean, I play, like, I dabble, basically. For the last however many months since Blue Eyes has been legal, I've played that pretty much, like, once every week. Sometimes 2 weeks, I guess, if something's going on. Very much a dad gamer when it comes to TCG now. I'm pretty much checked out. I just kind of play it for the social aspect once a week, just with my friends to catch up and stuff like that. I do miss TCG. I like it a lot, but I don't like TCG enough to want to do it out of my own free time. Because it doesn't matter how much you enjoy something, I think it kind of becomes a little bit of a chore eventually. So to like, you know, stream and do content for Master Duel all day and then to log off, unwind and relax. I'm gonna play Dueling Book now. Like, you couldn't pay me to do that, right? So
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do things simultaneously, but ultimately, like, people just don't like watching TCG as much as Master Duel. There really just isn't any super popular, like, raw, pure TCG content creator as much as Master Duel. Like, the difference is huge between the two categories, right? So that I don't think there's like similar numbers, and I think ultimately, like, you know, I went with what works for, you know, I don't want to say like it's like selling out or something. It's ultimately the biggest choice for me is just logistics. It's easier to make Master Duel content because it's a digital client that you just record from. TCG is significantly harder. You know, you got to get like a nice fancy setup. You got to get like the camera, the lighting.
Yeah.
You know, you could, if you want to make like a really nice TCG setup, you're spending thousands, probably tens of thousands if you want like a full like professional YouTube full-time studio setup, like, you know,
Yeah,
Sam was
you
doing,
mean
for
you mean
example,
like
for-
the Magic of the Gathering guys with their commander setups or something like these. Yeah, these are fucking expensive things. I mean, the only guy that comes to my head that can produce this kind of
Sam,
content for TCG. Oh, this idiot is now in chat. Yeah, I'm talking about Disencoder. Because he's the only guy
he's gonna
I
be
know
trying
so
it,
far
yeah.
who's willingly to spend that much money on his streaming setup. And he, yeah, so otherwise, other than that, right now, you're correct. The only thing of TCG content I can think of top of my head are fucking tier lists. This is the best hand trap, this is the best board breaker, the best deck, the best, I don't know, how to wipe my asshole. Something like this is Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG in a nutshell. Other than that, there's not really good TCG content. From a content creator perspective, I give you 100% right. There is no good way to make content in a TCG cosmos without Master Duel or something like this. The only other thing is, I think right now, what's Simo with his progression series, but he's somewhat of a unicorn because he's the only guy that works. The progression series is the only series that works at him. Every other Yu-Gi tuber that's starting out as a YouTuber, that they think, I'm like Simo, I'm going to start my own progression series, and they are, yeah, 0 views basically, and no one watches this shit. Simo's the only guy where it works from my perspective as an outstanding guy.
Yeah, we were able to see a massive change during, let's say, the last 1 or 2 years. I mean, every American content creator, they switched from TCG to Master Duel because, as you explained, Farfa, it's 20 million times easier to just hit record, start Master Duel, and head off. I mean, even at Team Sam, he reduced his, or is it actually still online? Is he still producing the Duel Night? I mean, it was once. It used to be once a week, then once a month, and now he stopped, right?
Yeah, Sam said they are not profitable. They're way too expensive to produce.
They were never going to be profitable unless you were hitting like 500,000 views per episode or something in order to like turn a profit. Each episode would cost I don't know if there were like 5 digits, but definitely 4 digits minimum. Like we're talking thousands for one episode of Duel Night.
Yeah, easy.
It was awesome to watch. It was a great series. It was beautiful. But obviously it's not sustainable. Even for someone who's like literally a millionaire like Sam, it just wasn't sustainable from a business model, right? And I get it. You know, it makes sense. Yu-Gi-Oh! Just isn't that popular. That's the reality of it. Our game, in the grand scheme of the YouTube sphere, it's just not that popular. You know, you look at the equivalent in Magic the Gathering, you look at the equivalents of like the top tier creators in Yu-Gi-Oh! And the top tier creators in other games.
Yeah,
the numbers are
there's
bigger in the
literally zero comparison at this point. We are just the cockroaches at their feet at this point. I mean, if you have a look at the Commander Duel Night, I don't know the right name. They have like millions in clicks on these videos. So this is nothing gonna happen because no one wants to watch. Yeah, and I'm chaining 3. I'm going to activate a Ash Blossom. Yeah, I'm going to counter that one with my Crossout Designator. Ha, idiot. I'm going to chain my Lancea. Yeah, no one wanna watch that. So, and it's not funny enough for someone outstanding and no one gets it. But that's from a content creator point. We are, let's say, a little circuit of people that says, yes, Master Duel is better from a content creator point. But you said the logistics, it's for the logistics was why you switched from TCG to Master Duel. Can you explain on this one for the viewers?
I mean, it's probably why a lot of people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like just either quit TCG or got into Yu-Gi-Oh! But never made the jump from Master Duel to TCG. I know a lot of people have, but ultimately a lot of people have stayed within the ecosystem of the Master Duel client because it's just easier. You can't play the best deck while taking a shit in TCG. You just can't. You can't spend that amount of money in Master Duel that you can compare to TCG. Like this Malice Core, for example, cost me like altogether all the cards that I need, it's like maybe like 400 or something. I got good deals on some of these cards for sure. You know, that you compare that to Master Duel, you can build the best deck for free, literally for free.
Yeah,
if you're smart with your gems, you regularly log in and play, you will build multiple best decks over the course of a season. You know, not just like one. We're talking like 2 or 3 top tier meta decks if you're smart with your gems, because there's so much crossover with the hand traps and stuff like that. You're never gonna need to craft Ash Blossom again, etc., etc. So yeah, Master Duel is very free to play friendly. It's very new. Well, I wouldn't say very new player friendly, but it's a video game. You can get into it. With TCG, you can't really get into TCG as a new player without needing to have an initial investment. So when it comes to viewers and stuff, Master Duel is always going to be the easiest way to bring people in. New potential viewers, subscribers, fans of the channel, members of the community. Master Duel is just better in that way. And again, this isn't like debating on whether or not Master Duel was better than TCG, because I know that's kind of like a hot topic that was happening on Twitter like over the last couple of days. It's completely irrelevant. We're not talking about like the quality of the gaming experience. Ultimately, TCG is fun, arguably better than Master Duel, especially right now. You know, the actual gameplay of TCG is actually really fun. I like it. I haven't tried Allen format specifically yet, so I'll report back soon. But at least last format with Rizio, with Blue Eyes, banger format, absolutely incredible. Master Duel, kind of shit to play actually, competitively and in ranked, which is, I just don't do that. I play draft, I play funny game modes, we build cubes together, we pull packs and draft together like that. That is, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a good game for that. But even if you want to do that in TCG, how can I do that? If I want to just play with you guys right now, how can we do that? Like, we can't do that in TCG. We have to go out and buy product each. I can't give you a pack to draft. You can't do that. You just can't do that in TCG. So
sure, Konami had its own draft system once, but they choose to kill it off because it wasn't arguably sustainable enough for their means. But I get your point. Right now in TCG, if we want to play, the only measures which we could take to play against is either Dueling Book, and I'm gonna be honest, I choose to die before I play a single game in Dueling Book. I think Dueling Book is the most horrific experience you can have playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
As a content creator, Dueling Book is sometimes pretty good, I will say. You know, there have definitely been some very, you know, iconic moments and highlights on my channel playing Dueling Book. But for the average, you know, civilian, that's like, why would you want to accept yourself to that?
My first game on Dueling Book, I ashed someone's effect. He told me I should die, and then he left. Cool, nice experience. I love it. 10 out of 10.
Well, at least he left, right? Because usually what they do is they'll just go AFK.
And then you need to call a judge. Yeah. And then you wait for 3 hours. I love it. Dueling Book is horrible.
He actually did you a big favor, so shout outs to that guy.
Yeah, big shout outs to this guy. Lovely fella. And the other way, at least I do for most of my time, because I never transition to Master Duel with my content. Of course, I'm not as a big content creator. I don't do it for a living. I'm just a regular old 400 viewer Andy with my shitty Twitch account and whatever. And I regularly play remote duels because I'm an old man. I need things in my grips. I need to feel something. I need to feel alive. I need to have this cocaine shuffle thing, you know what I mean? So this is what I need. And yes, I know I love my shiny cardboard, but I need to have a nice deck box. I want to have some cool custom sleeves. I'm an idiot, basically. I know it's financial not good. You don't have to tell me about this point, but it's I don't know. I don't feel that I can't play the Master Duel as much as I love TCG. This is why I just went to TCG and Remote Duel especially. And I know everyone is cheating in Remote Duel, yada, yada, yada. I have heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah, the point about Master Duel, I mean, as a content creator, I have the feeling, and I think Nifska is going to agree, that in Germany, it's by far not as popular than everywhere else in the world. Like, to watch it. I mean, it's the easiest way, and it's visually stunning to watch Master Duel. But somehow, I mean, we tried a small series, 3 episodes of Master Duel. The clicks on those videos were absolutely terrible. And somehow I have the feeling that because of the different format in Master Duel and the kind of limitations you have, because I mean, there's tons of potential in Master Duel. There is only this one way to play Master Duel, like the card pool, if you want to play ranked and stuff like this. There is no gold, no hat, no Edison format and stuff like that. I think like from a developer's perspective, if there's if they put different formats or different options to play the game, more people would log in more frequently than now, because now it's just on a weekend. Like, I mean, what was it? A couple of weeks ago, there was a kind of a GOAT weekend. On this weekend, I was working all weekend long, so I had no chance to play GOAT on Master Duel. And yeah, I think it's maybe that's one of the points they should add or change to bring even more people in and to keep the people in Master Duel. Because Fafa, you probably read some of the Steam comments. It's like, yeah, story mode is nice, but as soon as I logged in on rank mode, I got obliterated. Shitty game. What the fuck? Yu-Gi-Oh used to be great. Now it's shit, like the Yu-Gi Boomer explanation. So yeah.
I loved Drytron format was the release format on Master Duel. This was the best thing ever.
Yeah, so I mean, there's two parts there, right? So initially, like you were talking about the poor performing video, I think ultimately that's going to be because your channel is primarily tailored towards TCG, and so you can't really pull in both players. You would think there would be a lot of crossover between TCG and Master Duel. It actually isn't as much as you would think. I regularly would attempt to put out like certain TCG videos, for example, and they would completely bomb, like rank 10, terrible like numbers and stuff like that. And that's because, you know, just the algorithm isn't really forgiving you for changing up your content so drastically. It's something you kind of have to stick to and keep, you know, going with in order to like see that growth. Or you just get super lucky and you just do have like a super banger video. That is also a possibility.
What was the last TCG banger video you had?
A banger? I don't know. I mean, I haven't made a TCG video in a while. I think my last TCG video that I just like actually made was a Table 500, but it was TCG Table 500, and it was the worst Table 500 I've ever posted in history.
How did your Blue Eyes deck profile went with the awesome thumbnail?
Yeah, that video also was complete garbage. It was one of my worst uploaded videos as well.
Wow.
Top 8 YCS Birmingham White Forest. You know, getting the only White Forest deck profile from a YCS. It was very low.
Wow.
It was big in the context of what's the word? TCG. Like 38k views for a YCS deck profile. That's actually a lot because TCG deck profiles don't actually get that much, you know. You're getting like 10 15k maybe for like YCS deck profiles. First place might get a little bit more, but generally like YCS deck profiles don't really do that well. So it wasn't like terrible, but it's like comparatively to the rest of my channel, those are not good numbers. So it's all about the scale there, right? And I think it's basically just down to like, you know, your audience has been accustomed to a certain type of content. What they're not going to. It's just a bit of a whiplash to see these physical cards. Like, whoa, what the hell? These cards aren't unranked, you know? Like that's how it kind of plays out, I think.
Okay. Was it how do I phrase it? How long did it take for you to switch contents from TCG to Master Duel? So the algorithm wouldn't slaughter you.
I don't know, it just happened instantly. It was because of the Master Duel release. So it doesn't matter like how hard it would have been to climb through that process. Master Duel exploded. It was the number, like it was top 3 game on Steam for like a week. It was beating Counter-Strike. Like, can you imagine like Yu-Gi-Oh being more popular than Counter-Strike? So it didn't fucking matter what I was uploading. The first month of Master Duel, Team Samurai got 40,000 subscribers on his channel. 1 month. 1 month.
What?
So the transition from TCG to Master Duel was very simple because there was just millions of viewers for Master Duel within that first month. Searching anything, how to play this deck, how to play that deck, what do I do with my gems, what do I, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh, let's watch some Kaiba versus Yugi character decks or something. Any kind of Master Duel content you posted was just getting pumped through the algorithm because people were eating that shit up. Because so many new people, so many players were coming into it. So it was very easy for me because it's just supply demand. There's so much demand for Master Duel content on release. Now it's going to be hard, right? Now it's going to be difficult because Master Duel's hype has died down. You look at all of the numbers of the content creators, all of our Twitch analytics, all of our YouTube analytics over the course of the last 4 years, we're all down. We're all lower than we were during COVID.
Yeah, of course, the hype is done.
Just after. Yeah, it's just naturally that's what happened, right? The Master Duel population has gone down, but that's normal, right? It's not exactly that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things because you were always going to get that bump from Master Duel's release. So yeah, it was a huge time for me. It was insane for anyone who was making Master Duel content regularly.
It's like for you especially, like, does Master Duel make it easier for you to follow the changes, the game? Like, does it make easier for you to follow the game, like compared to TCG?
Game, do you mean TCG or?
Yeah, compared to TCG. Yeah, exactly.
Master Duel is in some ways harder to follow, like the top tier end of the game, because Master Duel doesn't have like, well, I mean, for the longest time it didn't have ranked, and even now Master Duel does have a high level ranked ladder, but there's no way to really observe that. There's no way to really analyze that in the same way that TCG does, where there's like a YCS somewhere happening in the world every month. You can look at trends from major events happening very regularly. With Master Duel, you get maybe people posting their list on Twitter after the end of the season ranked, which isn't that much of a deep dive and analysis of the metagame in Master Duel that you could do comparatively to TCG. You can analyze TCG so much more with so much more detail compared to Master Duel, because I guess it's just easier to analyze because of all of the data that's available. Master Duel just doesn't give you a lot of data. There isn't really any way to explore those rated duels intricacies compared to TCG.
Yeah, all right. Enough of this TCG slander. The TCG has one big thing for it, and it says I don't have to.
That's a positive for TCG.
Wait. I don't have to share my table with poor people at the top tables. That's the best thing about TCG. I know the guy sitting in front of me is driving a nice car, maybe has a home, or maybe he's a Yu-Gi-Oh addict and he has neither of them, just shiny cardboard. Jokes aside, but if I look at Master Duel, I personally think Master Duel has so much potential. But every time I wanna log on into Master Duel and I wanna have seen, I think I have never seen in my life more wasted potential than with this fucking game. I am Master Duel's strongest soldier, and there is nothing more disappointing and sad than the potential that this game had. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Inherently Yu-Gi-Oh! Inherently is such a fantastic game. It's so good. The problem is, when you look at the release of Master Duel, imagine being a new player who's back in the game after 10 years, and you go into ranked, even in like gold, you play against someone going alpha pitch zeta. Like, yeah. In what world was that the design choice that they made with the release of their Yu-Gi-Oh! Like digital title? That's insane. Not even the problem I have. The bigger problem I have in my mind right now. Have you ever played a single game of Pokemon or in the Pokemon Simulator?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not talking about Pokemon Live. Pokemon Live is just garbage. I'm talking about Pokemon Online, the predecessor. This had a built-in tournament mode. So, right now, if you wanna host a fucking tournament in Master Duel, you have to go on a fucking external Discord. And some idiot has to put your name into challenge.gg. You have to pray if this shit does not break down and the pairings are correct. Maybe you know someone who has the captnjas software. And then you can play your tournament. Then he's going to post your pairings. And then you have to get the right room number in this game. And this sounds like dog shit. Guys, this is tournament structures like Konami's doing that themselves.
Yeah, there's so many things, right? I think ultimately a tournament mode would be great. But in terms of raw numbers, that isn't the thing that would draw people to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or make such a huge sort of upkeep of players coming into the game, right? Because the average person who consumes video games is not very competitive. The average person who plays even something with ranked ladders like League of Legends and stuff, like they're not actually that competitive. So that
Yes, but
what you're complaining about would be really great, obviously, but I don't think it's the biggest priority. I think the biggest
it's
priority
not the biggest priority. The biggest priority is a GOAT mode, but I don't know, someone had a stroke programming that, and then it's only a 3-day event. I have no clue. The other thing is, from all the TCG I've played so far, I've played Magic, I've played Pokemon, I've played One Piece, and I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is by far the most competitive TCG out there. Everyone, even idiots at the locals, table 8, they think they are sitting in a YCS finale. And they do not give a shit about everyone else. They wanna sweat. They sweat from this. They wanna win. They're going to throw sand into your eyes just to get the win at table 8. A 3rd round locus. You know what I mean? It's such a competitive TCG. And I have no clue why not this is one of the things they could have brought out in like 3 years of Master Duel.
Hey man, you're preaching to the choir. Like there so many different things, you know, could have been done, should have been done, 100%, you know, and it's really sad as well, because if you look at just how much the game has changed in a span of like 3 years, it really hasn't changed that much since
we have animations now. Cool.
The biggest change is rated mode, and there's a couple more ranks. Like, ultimately, that's like the core of what the biggest changes of Master Duel has been in the span of 3 years. Which is it 4 years now, actually? It's 3 years, right? I'm pretty sure it's 3 years.
Year 4 is running right now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, like, that's it. Like, the card pool updates, which can be coded by a teenager from their high school computing class, that's not hard to do. But in terms of raw development of, like, a draft mode, of all of you know, different potentials they could have done with the game, like some sort of like solo mode that is a little bit more expansive than playing against just a basic bot. The game has not really changed that much, you know, and that's why the player base in Master Duel has kind of stagnated. If you look at the numbers on Steam charts and stuff, like Master Duel has sort of just kind of plateaued at this. I can't remember the exact number of what the daily user or monthly users are on Steam, but it is sort of just kind of like hobbling along, and it kind of dips, and sometimes there'll be like tier limit release, and then, you know, big spike, and then dips down. Fiendsmith release, big spike, dip down. And we've kind of stagnated and plateaued compared to what I guess you would hope, which would be growth, which Master Duel doesn't really have that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because I mean, for 3 years nothing changed that much. If you compare it to a game like Call of Duty, if you leave the game and you keep the game how it is for 3 years, you're gonna lose. Like, you will lose immediately. And I mean, the same thing is happening now with Master Duel. Like, I mean, they're not losing. Konami is still Konami, and the game works, and there is a player base and stuff like this. But I mean, for 3 years, no changes sounds in this kind of environment and those kind of opportunities you have to play different games. It sounds kind of insane to me to not. Yeah, to not be, I don't know if they're not willing or not capable, or it's too expensive. I don't think it's too expensive. Konami owns 10 big businesses in Japan, so I guess they have the money. But somehow, yeah, I don't get it. It's a very good software with amazing animations, with a good player base, with a good history, Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, I don't know why. Like. Is there an answer for this, Fafa? You are now here with your wisdom from the island. Bring us the wisdom.
So, like, if you could phrase that more succinctly, like, what exactly is like the question here? Just
the
so
question
I can, like,
why
so I'm, like,
is
kind of on track?
Do you have an answer for why does Konami leave out so much potential of?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's very simple.
money?
It's just a cost efficiency. Why try and fix something that isn't broken, right? And it's a big financial investment to program new things, to develop a new game, to create new game modes. There's significant amounts of engineering and coding involved with that. You'd have to hire people or outsource that to some extent. I assume so. It's why spend all that money when people are still, opting in to play the game now? Like every couple of months, they just keep following the same trend as TCG. You just keep re-releasing the cards. The scripts are very simple. If you know from YGO Pro, if you know from Master Duel Pro, or whatever that thing is called, the scripts for new cards are shown on YGO.org, and they're available to play in-game within like half an hour because it's so easy to do. It's not expensive. It's very simple to put new cards into the client. There was this big misconception that people thought that it was like this crazy difficult thing to code. No, it's not. It's just a basic script. So you put that into the game, and that's it. You copy paste the artwork, and it's simple. It's so cheap to just put Fiendsmith into the game, and they're raking in hundreds of thousands probably per set release. So why spend that money on improving and developing the game when you're maintaining the same player base? You've got like a good cash flow and income. I know this is a very cynical answer, but ultimately this is the truth of the business related reason. There just isn't a reason or incentive to try and improve the game and spend all this money if it's working. Like currently, the system that's in place right now is working.
Do you really think it's working? Because
2024
was the worst year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. Snake Eye was dog shit. The cards were way too expensive.
I don't know if you know that for sure financially. Like that's objectively not true because year on year Konami make profits.
So from what I observed,
and these are publicly available documents you can find. You can find the finances of Konami Digital Entertainment. This is public information. It's year on year profits. So
yeah, I think Master Duel is printing money. Master Duel is printing money.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
I'm just talking about TCG from TCG perspective. From what I knew so far, a lot of players quit the TCG. I'm talking exclusively TCG here. And I think they realized something bad happened. They fucked up. This is why they make so much changes for the TCG right now. Like the fast reprint of Fovalos. Fovalos was the fastest reprint of a main set secret dress. Sorry, my English is so bad. And I have ever seen in such a time. You know what I mean? They are doing things to change up the game. They bring alternate arts. And this just starts 2025 because 2024 was not good for the TCG. Or do you have some different opinions on this topic?
Yeah, in terms of just looking at the data and the statistics, you can't really do that for TCG because the way Konami or any company reports their income,
they total salaries,
yeah, it's just like total quarterly earnings, right? And that comes under this giant umbrella of Konami Digital Entertainment. Even though TCG you would think isn't digital, I believe TCG comes under digital title. At least, I mean, that's how all of the disclaimers in TOS is printed at YCS and stuff, right? It's KDE. So there isn't like a way to see the specifics and what the splits are. The best data you could probably look at in terms of numbers would probably be like TCG Player, Card Market. I'm sure they have statistics. So I don't know how good or bad TCG was in 2024. Gameplay-wise, unanimously, people said it was bad, but I don't know, dudes. Things were selling out. Cards were being purchased. Historically, most infamously, was 2018 was a really bad year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay-wise. No one really enjoyed that format or meta from what I can remember. But numerically, people were... there was record-breaking attendances. Every single record for the TCG was broken in 2018, despite how dogshit Firewall FTK format was for an entire year. Other than, obviously, the YCS Long Beach record. That's obviously 5,000 plus. That's still insane. But EU attendances broken, WCQ records broken, across the board. So I don't think necessarily sometimes gameplay is always going to be related to the quality of the game, as weird as that sounds, because we have evidence for that from 2018. And as for 2024, My theory personally for why things are improving, and a big example is like the new prize cards that they've just announced.
Yeah.
I think it's to do with One Piece. I think it's because of the success of the One Piece card game that they're doing this type of thing and copying One Piece. You saw the quarterly earnings for One Piece for the first time ever in history was reported to be ahead of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like for decades, maybe years, the number one selling card game in Japan is Pokemon by a landslide, league of its own. It's its own fucking
without
universe
competition.
in orbit.
Yeah.
But number two was pretty much always Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG in Japan for sales. And then there was this one little period in 2024 where One Piece was outselling Yu-Gi-Oh! That must have been freaking, sirens and alarm bells in the office, because that's just never happened before. They must be losing players to One Piece. They must be losing potential customers to One Piece, right? So I think that's why a lot of these different things are happening that we see in the TCG to try retain players, to try improve the quality of the competitive experience, the reprints that are happening a little bit more better, faster, efficiently with things like the rarity collections, the two-player tri-decks, the tactical tri-decks that have gotten really popular in Japan. These are all incentives to try and get more people to play the game. Because they have to really try and ramp up and contend, because these are serious competitors now. Disney, Lorcana, One Piece, these are real, genuine card game contenders now compared to the comfortable anime niche that Yu-Gi-Oh! Held. It's like, here's the anime TCG, and then you've got the Magic, that's like the old man TCG, and then you've got, like, I guess Pokemon, which is Pokemon is Pokemon. It's its own thing.
We don't need to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very comfortable now, but Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece are kind of similar in some ways, where you just have this huge, like, backing from the anime and from the fandom of the IP itself. So I think that's probably, like, again, this is all speculation. This is all just, like, my thoughts and what I think is going on, just based on the numbers. All of this is public information. All of this you can Google for yourself. So that's just kind of like my theories that I've kind of developed and tried to come to terms with and understand why and how we are in this situation.
And there is more trading card games to come. Like, I mean, the League of Legends trading card game, My Little Pony, was just announced in Japan. So
Wait, what the fuck? My Little Pony? Ain't no way.
Yeah, for sure. Hasbro is gonna do a My Little Pony TCG.
That's sick. The League of Legends one is genuinely an interesting one for me. The problem again with all of this stuff is, like, I would love to play One Piece. First of all, I need to finish the anime, so spoilers, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to do that. But if I hypothetically did finish the anime, I would love to play One Piece. But I just want to, like, have physical cards, even though you can build, like, the best deck in One Piece for like $50 or something probably.
Yeah,
sounds like a good deal. Same in Star Wars. I tried some starter decks in Star Wars, had a blast with it. Great card game, by the way. And the logistics of doing a physical card game is just not there for me, So hopefully, maybe we'll see a rerun of Runeterra or something again, I don't know.
Yeah, or One Piece. I mean, Bandai is going to implement simulator. Like, I mean,
Wait, is this confirmed? Is this like
no, it's not confirmed. But they did this from the beginning with the Dragon Ball Fusion World. Now they will do it with the Digimon TCG. This is confirmed, and maybe, I hope, let's see. Next thing to come is going to be One Piece.
I hope so, dude. I would be so hyped to try that. I missed the bus on playing the Pokemon Duel Links game. I call it the Duel Links game, but I don't know.
Pocket.
Pocket, yeah. I didn't even bother or try to make any content on that. I really should have. But again, logistically, it's like recording like
it's
an Android game.
Like, it just wanted to pull money from you. I played it for a whole week, and then afterwards I got bored of it, to be honest.
But let's get back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And because time is short, Fartha, one big question, and to you, Nivska, as well. Where do you see Master Duel and or the trading card game in, let's say, 5 years? Like, how do you think is gonna develop by the trends we have at the moment?
I'm scared, dudes, honestly. Like, In 2016 or whatever, there was like this whole Yu-Gi-Oh's dying drama, and then COVID happened, and there was a genuine fear. And even long before that, when Upper Deck was getting sued or transitioning into Konami being the licensor instead of Upper Deck, there was like, this is it, it's over, the game is dying. We keep talking about it. Everything comes to an end eventually, but at the same time, I think about my son and how I was playing Pokemon very close to his age, and here he is, almost at a time in his life where he can pick up Pokemon and play it himself, and it's just generational. So maybe we're fine. Maybe it's gonna be okay. I don't know. I hope so. Clearly, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for the future, me as a TCG Andy, I gotta admit, I think the TCG is going to die down in not 5, maybe give it, let's say 7, 8 years, because it's...
Dude, he's dooming.
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't play Master Duel that much. I prefer TCG, but I see the problems you just told me. You need cards, you need sleeves, you need at best have a local store near you. I don't have a local store, this is why I started my Discord. We are worldwide now the biggest remote duel Discord ever, but still people are cheating left and right because they can't understand their own cards. Master Duel does this for you, you know what I mean? This accidentally cheating, this is happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because this game is getting more complex, even more complex. And playing on a local level is hard enough, and Master Duel is just the idiot-friendly version which says, ha! Look at me, yellow text, you are using this effect right now. You know what I mean? So I think in 7, 8 years, maybe 10, Master Duel is going to overtake Yu-Gi-Oh! In a level that maybe Konami thinks, yeah, fuck these YCSs, why should we hold on YCS if we have more Challenger Cups? Just put Josh on even more posters and have events with him. Idiots are going to buy the packs online. We don't have to print the cards. It's just printing money at this point. So, because before you already told us, Konami is a pretty cost-efficient company, and I think making money with Master Duel is so much more easier than with a real card game.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a Konami issue specifically. Ultimately, like every business operates like this under the type of political system and economic system we have now, right? Like that's just, it is what it is. They have to look at the viability of finances and things like that. And if it ever crosses the point where creating TCG is becoming unprofitable, then yeah, it will definitely get cut. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think TCG is probably very profitable, extremely profitable. So as long as we keep playing and the way things are looking right now, nothing's changing. The player base is still pretty, I suppose, like as I mentioned earlier, Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels very stagnant. It doesn't feel like it's growing.
Yeah.
Numbers wise.
The guys that are playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Are playing it for like 10 years.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't know. There's a lot of like new players. You'd be surprised. Like people who started playing post-COVID, people who started playing within the last like post-Master Duel. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! is getting new players and some are leaving. So it's doing it at a rate where it's completely in equilibrium, where it's not growing. It's just kind of like losing 10 players, gaining 10 players, losing 10 players, gaining 10 players. So I feel like that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, understandable from this point. And then otherwise, okay, one short thing at the end. Let's talk about marketing on Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you think Konami is doing a good job with marketing? Let's take, for example, the awesome Sky Striker anime, the 4-minute video.
God. Well, you want to talk about marketing? We kind of say like Pokemon is its own thing. But you look at Pokemon Worlds and the production for that, and you just think to yourself, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, like, infamously
the back rooms.
Day 1 being held in the back rooms and stuff. It's like when Worlds is like on for Pokemon, it's like advertised around the city, you know? Like when it was in London, I think last year, the year before, you go on like a London subway and you just see like
Pokemon
Pikachu.
Everywhere,
Yeah, like that's crazy for someone who might have grown up with that. They might actually check that out, and there's a new player there. I just feel like so much money was wasted on some of the advertising that they did with Master Duel, right? Like, imagine day 1, you were promoting people like Moist Critical to play the game and stuff like that. People who have actually shown interest in the game. Ludwig ran a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel tournament. What a fucking crossover. Why did they not jump at that? Why did they not push that? I just think like there's focus on too many just redundant things, or focus on the wrong direction on some things. So I would love for it to have the budget that Pokemon does. I would love for Pokemon to for Yu-Gi-Oh! To mimic Pokemon in that way. For whatever reason, they just don't.
You don't have to look at Pokemon. You can look smaller. Bandai. One Piece is doing such a good job with their marketing, and they're on the same ballpark more. For example, in Germany, One Piece has collaborated with 2 of the biggest football clubs. Or soccer, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Dortmund. I saw
Dortmund
Luffy Dortmund.
Yeah, exactly. And they made special promo cards for this Dortmund thing. Sorry, I'm not a football guy myself.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tried that, and then there was an incident.
Yeah, they tried it with Griezmann, yeah, for sure. But what was nice about the Dortmund collaboration is that you were able to receive a card by attending a trial, a duel trial, like a trial duel. So this was kind of cool. So they tried to bring people into the TCG to make them try and play the game. And as a little reward, there was this little small promo card. So it was kind of a cool and very niche marketing strategy. And to spread the brand, then they collaborated with the FC Bayern Munich. Now there will be a collaboration with fucking Fortnite. It's crazy. They put
shit.
Yeah, they put Luffy everywhere. Luffy just everywhere at the moment. It's insane. There's 2 more seasons for the how do you call it, the real life adaptation from the One Piece anime on Netflix. There is let's say a remake from the original anime series, which will I hope, I don't know, maybe next year or the year after. So there's tons of stuff they're doing with this big brand to make it more popular, which brings more people to maybe play the card game. In general, because we were speaking about the next 5 to 10 years, I think in general, every card game is gonna grow because the anime and everything around the Japanese culture and stuff like this, it's getting more and more popular. It's more and more mainstream. You see big brands like, I don't know, Uniqlo or whatever, they're printing anime characters on their t-shirts. Agent M
I have a
collection,
Uniqlo Luffy
whatever.
t-shirt, yeah.
Yeah, you see, there's Adidas jumping on it. There is Nike jumping on it. So using those anime characters, everything we knew from our childhood, and now it's still popular and interesting. Everything seems, for me, because I'm interested, it seems like many major brands and the average awareness towards anime and everything that has to do with anime, TCGs, I don't know, whatever, Gengar or whatever you want. It's growing and growing.
100%. Anime used to be a very backroom niche type of weird thing that people were into. Now it's mainstream, it's popular. There's no reason it can't be taken advantage of in the mainstream for sure. And what One Piece is doing is crazy. I didn't even know that. Didn't they give Speed? I Show Speed? Didn't they give collab with him? Didn't he dude?
They gave him a permission. They gave him a permission to stream the episodes without getting claimed or something like this. He's allowed to stream every new One Piece episode coming.
Oh shit! Does he do that? Does he live react to each One Piece episode?
It's crazy.
That's just insane.
And we got Zayn Malik with a Darth Vader filter, so I love that chain link.
It's so sad. Dude, you look at the numbers and stuff, that stream had 200 average viewers or something. I think he made maybe he made an Instagram post, but it's come on, the crossover between, I'm sure it's reaching millions and millions of impressions, but who's going on Zayn Malik's Instagram and seeing Yu-Gi-Oh! And being what's the crossover here? I just don't know, dude. It feels so disjointed and so misdirected. I don't know.
All right.
The anime thing you brought up was actually insane, though. The Sky Striker thing, crazy, so cool, massive thing. Why is it not like a full-fledged anime production? It was so disappointing. It was great for what it was, but it was 4 minutes, and that was it.
I think
feel like there's so much potential there.
Yeah, I think this is going to get looped in the next YCSs instead of Guess the Card in futures.
Yeah, and it's funny because you can play the entire episode probably 5 times in between round 1 and round 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And this is where I think this shit is going to get looped in YCS streams in the future, and maybe it's going to be a full-fledged cutscene in Master Duel. And that's it. So this is all this is going to happen with. So we just reached the 45-minute mark. So Farfa, first of all, I want to thank you to take the time and to show up in this little stream. And for the other people out there, we are sorry. I know we have a lot of us, and thinking pauses because, you know, we are working in German normally. We're just some idiots trying to speak English. We are stumbling across the language.
You guys have incredible English. Don't downplay that.
It
is
all right at
good.
best. So, Farfa, like I said, I wanted to thank you. Do you have any last words for this episode?
Nein, ich liebe dich. Danke für deinen Spiel und zerstört die Baby.
All right, and with this one, we are closing down this episode of Draw Stand by Main. Next week, we're back in the good old Germany.
No, let's invite a Chinese creator. Like, Nipska, how is your Chinese?
My Mandarin sucks balls.